You paid the price, the sacrifice for redemption. Now I am determined to know Christ in Him crucified, now alive, and the power in me is You. Now blameless, You call me holy. I've been forgiven. You call me righteous and free. Now spotless, You call me worthy. I am Your child. You call me chosen. I'm Yours. I am Yours. So I want you to take this in this morning. I will boldly come, running straight to the One, singing over me Your songs of salvation. No one can take this from me. No, no, no. I'm a child that You made free. Nothing will separate us. I'm held by You. Now blameless, You call me holy. I've been forgiven. You call me righteous and free. Now spotless, You call me worthy. You call me worthy. I am Your child. You call me chosen. I'm Yours. I am 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 Yours. Jesus, I am Yours. I am Yours. I am Yours. I am Yours. Now blameless, You call me holy. You call me holy. I've been forgiven. You call me righteous and free. Yes, I'm free. Yes, I'm free. Now spotless, You call me worthy. You call me worthy. I am Your child. You call me chosen. I'm Yours. I am Yours. Thank You, Jesus. Thank You, Jesus, that we are called free. We're called blameless. Thank You, Jesus. If you guys would stand again, and we'll do a little more worship. This one you may be familiar with, but it's all about trusting God even when we don't see where He's leading us. But we can trust God because God loves us so much.
I need to have a message to share with you today. I do have my Bible. I don't know if it's on. Perhaps now we can have a message. But I still have my Bible. That's all I need, isn't it? Well, just in case, for the last few weeks I've been preparing for this hour, and I have a book full of sermon. That should be all I need, shouldn't it? Well, just in case my book falls, the wind blows, and I don't have the outline, I brought my tablet. On my tablet, I have the Bible. But I also have the outline for my sermon. So I've got all I need, don't I? Well, just in case, I have my cell phone. But you laugh, but I have the Bible on my cell phone. Many of you do also. But I also have my sermon outline on my phone. So I have everything that I need. Well, one other thing. I have Jesus in my heart. In my mind, in my everyday life. But I also have the message that I've been preparing in my mind. Now I have a question for you. Do you want the short version or the long version this morning?
Medium.
There's a grown soul over here. What did you say, Woody?
Medium.
Medium. There's a compromiser for you. Well, I'll try to put this 5-hour message in 30 minutes. What is this, by the way? Cane? Walking stick? Staff? Alan has been teasing me all week that he's going to be my cheering squad. And that he would be back there just cheering me on. And I told him if he gets too loud, I'm going to have to come back there and tell him to shut up. So just in case, I brought this. Years ago, preachers had the ushers with tickle sticks. You ever heard of those? It had a feather on the end of it, so that if somebody went to sleep, they'd come by and they'd tickle them under the nose to wake them up. If that didn't work, they had a rock on the other end and they'd hit them with it. At least then they had a reason to be asleep. I'm very privileged this morning to be standing in this place. Not only did Pastor Danny ask me if I would be here, Roy broke his hip and asked me if I would come and speak this morning in his place. I think I've got some of the biggest shoes to fill that I've ever had before. Two great men of God. But I'll do everything that I can to bring God's word to you. I'm privileged this morning to have family, friends, some people that I have not met before, to be here. But I guess what thrills my heart the most, along with being able to preach God's Word, is to have my granddaughter here. Kara is very special in my life. She's my first granddaughter. And I heard last night that she told her grandmother, don't get too confused in this story, if she could spend the night with her and come to church this morning to hear Papa Bob preach. Minnie, thank you. Perhaps you were expecting me to say, Johnny, thank you. Johnny is her grandmother, and she's also her aunt, and I won't go into that. All of you have family trees, right? Ours is a bramble bush, and it just continues to go. God blesses us, doesn't He?
Amen.
The short message this morning is God is creator of everything. Would you agree? Also, you know, I always see the preacher up here doing this, so it must be what you're supposed to do with it. And it just won't stay where I want it to, so wherever it goes is okay. Not only is God creator of everything, He also has given us everything.
Amen.
And that which He has given is up to us to either use or destroy. I don't know if this story is true or not, but there is a pastor I've heard or read about told his congregation, next Sunday, I'm going to be preaching about lying, and I want you to be prepared, if you would, to read Mark 17. Next Sunday, he stood up to preach, and he asked, how many of you heard me last Sunday, and you have read Mark 17 this past week? And hands all over the congregation went up. You're right. There are only 16 chapters in the book of Mark. So this morning I'm preaching about lying. Little boy went with his school class on a field trip. When they got to the fire station, one of the firemen reached up on a shelf and he brought down a little round contraption that was white, about that thick, and he held it up. And he said, how many of you know what I have in my hand and what it's used for? And almost every little boy and girl there was just jumping up and down with excitement and waving their hands. And you know, at that young age, they will raise their hand out of excitement to say anything. So you have to be kind of careful. And the teacher had already told him some of the students he could call on, but this little boy that was close to him just was so excited and couldn't help. He just right here said, yes, sir, can you tell me what this is? And he said, yes. It's a smoke detector. And I thought, oh, that's not so bad. Great, what's it used for? That's how Mommy knows when dinner's done. That, by the way, is a true story from my granddaughter's mother. I used to tease her that that's how she would know when everything was ready. Well, the end of Genesis tells us that Joseph, who, and I want you to, in your mind, just make a quick run backwards into the life of Joseph, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph. And you'll remember where he ended up, in Egypt. It was a long way to get there, and through slavery, hard times, good times, up times, and bad times. But he ended up as a national leader in Egypt. From Genesis, we move quickly into Exodus, And the first few chapters is where I want to speak to you from this morning. For it is there that we see that the Pharaoh that knew Joseph and gave him tremendous opportunity and leadership has died. Now, that's not so unusual because several hundred years, about 400, has gone by. And there's a new Pharaoh that did not know the ways of Joseph. He also noticed that over these hundreds of years that Joseph's family, the Hebrews, had grown tremendously in number. And they become very powerful. And in this growth, in this huge number of people, he noticed that they were getting to be more numerous than the Egyptians. And so he was fearful that they one day may change their mind about following him. And if a neighboring country, which happened often in those days, came in to try to overthrow Pharaoh and his people, his kingdom, the Hebrews just might join them and fight against them. And so, as you remember, the story moves quickly through those early years in the life of Amram and Jochebed, the mother and father of Moses. For it was during that time that tremendous pressure was placed upon the Israelite people. Pharaoh decided the best thing he could do was to work them to death. And so he gave them great amounts of work to do. And as they continued to grow, he decided that the only thing I can do is make it more and more difficult for them. If it's so difficult, they won't be able to continue to multiply and we'll begin to gain more power over them. But instead, Israel continued to grow even larger. And so Pharaoh called in a couple of nice ladies, women who were midwives, and they attended every woman who was giving birth. And he told them every time an Israelite woman is giving birth, I want you, if it's a girl child, to let that child flourish and live. But if it's a boy, you are to kill the child before anybody ever knows anything about it. Well, these two ladies, knowing that God told them that they should obey the laws of the land, they should do what the rulers over you tell you to do. But they also reverence God even more than that. And so they had disobeyed the king, and they did not kill any of the little baby boys. And you remember the turmoil that came over that, and how little boys were being killed not only by the soldiers, but by their neighbors. Pharaoh had made it very difficult. So Amram and Jochebed had a little baby boy. And they knew that this baby was special. How many of you have children? How many of you have grandchildren? Great-grandchildren? Would you agree with me that your grandchildren are smarter than your children have ever been? It just seems like my kids are as dumb as rocks. And especially when they're trying to raise my grandchildren. Well, Amram and Jochebed knew that this baby boy was more than just special to them as their child. God had told them that he is special. And during those early months when they could still control what the baby was doing, don't you wish their teenagers, those years were like that? They kept the baby under control until it was no longer possible to keep him quiet. I noticed this morning that one of the children over during breakfast got upset. Isn't it amazing? It doesn't matter what we do. Sometimes they just won't be quiet. Well, Moses was kind of like that. So you remember he was placed into a basket that had been woven and covered with pitch inside and out, placed in the basket and taken down to the river, the very place that Pharaoh told the armies to take the boy children down to the river and kill them. At this point, it was a bloody, cruel, horrible place. And it was at that very place that Jochebed and her daughter, the older sister of Moses, went down to the river. And they placed the baby in the river. And you know the story. It floated down the river. It was strategically placed so that the baby would arrive exactly where or near where Pharaoh's daughter usually took her baths. And she had all the women there that were attending to her. And when she saw the basket a little bit at a distance, she told them, "Go get that and bring it to me." And not only was the basket brought to her, but so was the baby, and dear to her heart. And she wanted to keep it. Kind of reminds me of some of my children when they would find a puppy or a kitten. Can I keep it? Pharaoh would not like that. But something tugged at her heart also, and she wanted to keep it. And so kept it she did, and as you remember the story goes that Jochebed had Miriam, her daughter, to watch, and it just happened to arrive at the right moment that Pharaoh's daughter was trying to figure out what to do. And offered, I can go find one of the Hebrew ladies to take care of it for you. And that they did. When Moses was older, he was taken by his mother to the palace in Egypt. And it was there that he was trained for the very best of the best. Had the best education, the best food, everything that could be given was given to him. And out of having the best of the best, when Moses was 40 years old, realizing what his mother taught him when he was still a little boy, remembering his roots, he looked out and he saw how the Israelite people were being treated. And he went one day and a Roman soldier, an Egyptian soldier, I don't know where Rome came into that story. But a soldier was out there mistreating the people, whipping them and telling them you've got to make more bricks, you've got to work harder, you're not doing enough. And Moses looked around and that was the only people that were there, this one soldier and the Egyptians were nowhere to be seen. But the Israelites, few in number, but they were there. And Moses went over and killed the soldier. Now, Moses is, as far as everyone is concerned, the grandson of Pharaoh, the son of Pharaoh's daughter. But killing someone, and especially a soldier in Pharaoh's army, is not going to be tolerated. Something had to be done. Some exception, something had to be done. And Moses knew that. The next day, to make matters worse, you remember he went out and saw two Israelites who were, what were they doing? Fighting with each other. And he went over to separate them and tell them, why are you doing this? And the answer he heard back was, who made you to be ruler and king and so lifted up high and mighty? You going to kill us like you did the Roman kitchen soldiers? And Moses knew immediately that there was more than just trouble in the air. That if they knew what was going on, Pharaoh would soon know as well. And so Moses began his ministry kind of with a hot head, kind of with a pushing forward attitude. Killed a man, feared Pharaoh, and fled to Midian. Not too bad for a day's work. In Midian, you remember that he found 7 beautiful women at a well. I don't know about you, but if I find 7 beautiful women at a well and I'm supposed to do something, I'm going to be sure that my wife is nearby. I don't want that kind of trouble. But Moses saw trouble beyond any possible accusation. He saw that there were other sheep herders that were mistreating the women and pushing them out of the way. He defended them, he watered their flocks, and the girls went back to their father, who, by the way, was the priest of Midian. And his first question was, well, where is this great man who defended you? Well, he's at the well. Well, bring him here. As the story slowly moves, but quickly for us this morning, Moses took one of those 7 girls as his wife. And he had 2 children while he was in Midian. 40 years old, he left Egypt. Now about 80 years old, he's taking care of sheep. He's become a shepherd. His tool of trade was a stick longer than this that usually had a crook. It could be used to reach out and grab a sheep and pull him back to the shepherd. On the backside of Mount Horeb, west side of the desert, Moses saw the burning bush. And as he kept staring at it and looking at it, he questioned, what is this? A fire in a bush, but the bush is not being consumed. And as he arrived, he heard the voice of God. Moses saw and heard God as Saul of Tarsus did on the road. That was not my hesitation. When was the last time you saw the light? God told Moses to take off his shoes, you're on holy ground. And Moses not only took off his shoes, he fell prone on the ground and hid his face in fear of seeing God. When's the last time you had that kind of relationship with God? The story goes on as Moses begins to make excuses to God about what God wants him to do. God asks a simple question. Moses, what is that in your hand? I don't have anything, God. Moses, what is that in your hand? Oh, you mean this stick? Yes, Moses. What is in your hand? What are you doing with God? God has given us an opportunity. 2019. 50 years ago, a little over 50 years ago, I was sitting in a place much like you're sitting in right now. At the close of the service, they began to play an old hymn, "Wherever He leads, I'll follow." Wherever He leads, I'll go. And I sat in that place with tears in my eyes because I had known that God had a work for me to do. And I had been doing everything I could other than what God had told me to do. I was not bad. I was not a criminal. I was not in prison. I was not being chased by anybody. But I was not doing what God wanted me to do. And there in that place, that night, tears in my eyes, I said, God, as best I can, whatever I have in my hand is yours. And wherever you lead, I'll go. That's my question to you. What's in your hand? And where are you going from here? Well, I know we're going to go to eat someplace, home or a restaurant, but in your life, where are you going to go? Would you pray with me? Heavenly Father, there are so many times in our life that we have cried out to you because we were having problems. We've cried out to you because things were not going the way we wanted them to go. We were crying out because our bodies were hurting, or someone around us was hurting. Father, we cry out to you, help. Help. So many times, your answer to us is, I am helping. What are you doing with what I'm doing to help you? Walk with me. I love you. I care for you. I provide for you. Don't turn your back on me. Walk with me. Father, I do want to walk with you. I want to follow you. And I pray that these, your people, my friends,
I know Moses, he was scared because he stuttered and he wanted him to speak. My God, I ask that the things you want us to do, that you be our courage, you be our strength, and help us, God, just to give it all to you. Give all glory to you, God. So whatever you want to do in our lives, God, help us to give you space to do that. So thank you, God, for today. Thank you for being our stronghold, our shelter, our provider, our joy. Sing the chorus one more time. I surrender. I surrender. I want to know you more. I want to know you more. I surrender. I surrender. I want to know you more. I want to know you more. Thank you so much, God. As God continues to move, you can just stay in worship. But I want to send you out with a blessing. And the blessing is that you may know more and more who you are in Christ, that you may know and may see all that God has for you, because He always has greater. It's not about what the world says, it's about what God says.